Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Do you want to take this, Swinny? Because you are the Mass Effect expert.
Yeah, I'll take it. So essentially, the game's a week out from release.
Really?
Yeah, I think 14th.
Yeah, we're in May already, baby.
14th of May,
I
and
might get it.
as
Sorry, go on, Swinny.
yeah, so EA have basically come out and said, to me, it's a bit too close to launch for this, but whatever, they've done it. They've confirmed the frame rate graphics options of all the console variations that it's coming to. But they've also provided some other cool stuff. So I'll start with the frame rate graphics options, and some of this is really interesting. So on PS5, it's basically like everything, you've got options where it favors, they call it favor quality or favor performance. So on PS5, on quality, you can go up to 60 frames a second at 4K resolution. On performance, you can go up to 60 at 1440p resolution. Okay, that's interesting. We'll come back to that. PS4 Pro, you can choose 30 frames a second at 4K or 60 frames a second at 1440p. PS4 base console, you can go up to 30 frames a second at 1080p or 60 frames a second at 1080p. Okay, again, we'll come back to that one. Xbox Series X. So you can, for quality, you can go up 60 frames a second at 4K, or performance, you can actually go up to 120 frames a second at 1440p, which is, I'm going to be interested to see what that looks like. And on the Series X, Series S and Xbox One X, you can go up to 30 frames a second at 4K, or for performance, up to 60 frames a second at 1440p. And lastly, on the base Xbox One console, you can choose between 30 frames a second at 1080p or 60 frames a second at 1080p. So just looking at these pure numbers, there's a few things that stand out. First of all, the PS5 numbers, basically, if you take it exactly from what EA has put up there, it's basically saying you can choose between 4K or 1440p. Now, I know not everyone's got a 4K TV, so, that's choice can get taken out of your hands, but at some point you're like, well, if they're both saying up to 60 frames a second, but then it's just the resolution difference, what's the deal here? So what they've said is basically the favor quality mode prioritizes achieving the highest visual fidelity possible in exchange for a lower target frame rate, while the favor frame rate mode prioritizes the highest frame rate possible by scaling native resolution and reducing some graphical features. This is super confusing to the average consumer. Like, why, just looking at those numbers, and you've got a 4K TV, why would you choose 1440p? And it's the question to me is, obviously they say up to 60 frames a second. So I'm really keen to see, like the masterminds of Digital Foundry do the testing on this, because I think that's the only way we're really going to see this stuff. Because,
but I wonder when they say up to, I wonder whether it's generally 60, but it's not always 60, so they had to say up to. But it might generally be nice and smooth.
Yeah, it's just, to me, I like that they've gotten out there with information, but it's almost led to more confusion around this, especially for the base consoles as well, where from those numbers alone, and I'm not a technical person, as you guys know, but it's basically saying, well, you can choose between 30 and 60. And it's like, well, yeah, like, I know some people do like lower frame rates, but generally speaking, most people are going to like the 60. So it's...
Well, I don't think people like lower frame rates. Some people like higher resolution.
Well, there's some weird people out there that prefer 30 frames.
What?
Yeah, there are.
So wait, if they
people.
can get the exact same resolution, they prefer less frames.
I've seen some people out there say that.
No, they don't. No one actually believes that.
Actually seen some weird people out there.
I think that's just a bullshit. Like, that's a troll.
Yeah, so I think for this point, obviously it's great to have this info, but wait for the people that do the good work on this to do comparisons.
But the whole up to thing, it's like, it kind of makes the whole thing meaningless.
Yeah, it is that also, this is fanned a flame war between PS5 and Xbox Series X people. So, Series X can do up to 120 frames. It's like, well, look, dude, like, I mean, you're gonna see examples of this stuff happen either side throughout this whole generation. So, so about some of the other stuff they've done this week, my favorite thing is the fact that they released on the Mass Effect website the My Shepard custom cover art tool. This thing is awesome. So a lot of people have seen the Mass Effect
Oh,
Legend.
this is so cool.
Yeah,
This is so
a
cool.
lot of people have seen the Mass Effect Legendary Edition kind of cover art where it's got like a lot of the characters centered around, and like, you know, there's about like 10 characters, and then it's got like this bluish and this red kind of color to it. Well, you can actually create your own version of that using the characters that you like, you know, love the most, and the locations and your morality. So basically the way it works is first you select your morality, so Paragon, Renegade, or Neutral in the middle, and that determines the color scheme. Neutral kind of gets the blend of the red and blue, and obviously blue is Paragon, red is Renegade. Then you select your favorite squad mates, your trusted companions, cavalry, and also, you know, like the location. And then essentially you generate the cover art, and you can download it as custom cover art for PlayStation or Xbox, or 4K wallpaper. And at any point, if you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was going to turn out that way, you can just edit the criteria and edit the options and regenerate it. It's just such a cool idea. Now, I know they're not the first to kind of, you know, provide some custom cover art options, but I've never seen it handled like this myself.
This is so. I'm not a Mass Effect fan. More just I'd never really played the games, and I do think I'll probably get this and start playing it because it's part of my Dirty Dozen, Mass Effect 1. But this cover art generator is so cool. Like, even I was playing around, I don't even know the characters, and there's some really funny memes coming from it as well, where people have, you know, permeated through all the options, so then they get the one character, but it's every single character on that is the one character, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And I'm like, that shit's funny. Like, that's good. I like that.
And the other cool thing, and I don't know if you know about this, Mike, but Intergot told me about it. So EA also gave away an awesome digital bonus content pack. It's like a 1.7 gig pack or something.
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, and it includes an 88-song soundtrack, including one of the new songs that they've done for the Legendary Edition.
But it doesn't have the fonts, does it?
It doesn't have fonts the credit song for Mass Effect 1, which I hope you get to experience soon, Intergot, which is...
Yep.
It's a licensed song, but still, to me, that's Mass Effect 1 soundtrack. It also includes some PDF art books and comic books and a digital lithograph. I've downloaded it. I haven't actually checked it out yet, but that's cool. Like, this is the kind of stuff that if you're going to do this kind of, you know, celebration of a series, this is the stuff that just wins over the fans and, you know, reminds people, well, they had a lot of ground to build back up from with the Mass Effect series, and I think this is a great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say,
as well.
Everyone's like always shitting on EA. I feel like EA, you know, what have they done wrong here?
Well,
like,
yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, but come on.
It's
they
also,
do it for the marketing.
Yeah, and look, I'm not sure exactly, like,
Okay.
Is everything handled by EA or some of this BioWare? I don't know, but it's...
I'd imagine it's a lot of it is surely BioWare as well, but then with EA's approval and whatnot. But look, don't get me wrong. Awesome that you get a lot of free content. I have a bunch of this stuff, I think, if not all of it. I mean, I haven't seen the actual digital lithograph in which comics, but I've got a lot of this stuff in physical copy. So to me, it's like, well, thanks, Boo. Sorry, interrupted. But I find that really ultimately this is a nice giveaway from a marketing perspective.
Yeah.
It gets people riled up talking about it. So look, everyone wins in a way. We get free stuff. They get not free marketing, but basically free marketing. It's all content that they've already had. It's all digital stuff. It's all, you know, easy to get out there. So I wouldn't give EA that much credit. I don't think they do it out of the goodness of their own hearts.
So mean.
No, I'm not being mean. I just think it's a good marketing ploy. You know, it's a good way to get people to get hyped up and get the game. More sales, ultimately.
Yeah, no, look, I think, you know, I'm actually getting hyped up in a weird way about Mass Effect, and I do think it is a good reset for the series and the reset that they needed. And you know, if this plays well and there's not many major issues, I do feel like it's going to allow them to hype people up for Mass Effect 4 when it comes out in, you know, 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, no, cool. It's just around the corner as well. All right, let's move on to my segment.